Town of Light is one of those narrative games that is going to stay with me for quite a long time. It's set in an Italian town called Volterra. It's based on real life events and it handled mental illness in a very frank and, in a lot of ways, dark sense of the times. It's based around the late 1930s, early 40s, and basically how the patients are treated there, and in particular a girl called Renee. And the tone it touches on is incredibly mature, to an extent I wasn't expecting. It deals with sexual as abuse and how mentally ill people were treated back then. And game wise, it's relatively linear. You are basically exploring the mental hospital, and the voiceover sort of helps you along the way and where you need to go next and what you need to do next. There are plenty of medical records and pages to find throughout the building that help sort of give even more sort of sentiment to everything in this place and sort of makes it more creepy. It's at the end of the day, this is sort of a walking simulator with a horror aspect, but not in the typical sense of monsters coming and chasing you down and horrifying creatures looking at you. The horror comes from the eeriness of the music, which are sometimes, and the sound design can be incredibly unsettling, which I have to commend. It definitely worked at times where I knew there wasn't going to be any like jump scares or anything like that, but I still felt very unsettled. And the times it didn't hold up all the well. Unfortunately, the weakest aspect, even with this enhanced version, is the visuals. It technically isn't an incredible looking game. Textures are quite bland, and it doesn't help too much in terms of the atmosphere. I think if it was visually a better game, I think it would enhance even more the atmosphere to this game, which definitely has made me think quite a bit about it. It's quite an effective game. I'm not going to forget the themes that's thrown on me while I was playing the game. I guess you can probably tell, even listening to my voice compared to other videos, is a little more serious because I just finished it and it's still playing in my mind. There's a lot I want to talk about. It's a game I wasn't expecting to be the way it was. It's not very long either. I think I finished it in under 2 hours, but even at that, it was a very strong 2 hours in how it handled things. And there are shortcomings, like I mentioned, the visuals. Sometimes the sound doesn't hold up, and it's quite a linear game. You don't really explore much. There's not a lot to explore. It's not a huge open area, but it was from a topic of mental illness, especially such a frank, and I don't know if honest is the right word, but blunt look at mental illness, especially the way people used to look at it. It definitely is written and delivered incredibly well. And if you're in the mood for a walking simulator that handles things a little more, like I said, bluntly, maybe give Town of Light a look, because yeah, that'll be one game I'll remember for a while.